All systems go. Clear for liftoff. What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, a.k.a. ToeTagginTambo, back for another edition, the Thursday Night Football edition, the best game of the year. We are here, excited to talk about it, break it all down for you guys. We've got New England, Pittsburgh, some backup quarterbacks, going to break it all down as usual. We'll get to everything from the captains, talking a lot of different things today because it's going to be all the questions. Oh, 2 defenses, 2 kickers. Save it. We'll get there. We'll have that covered. We'll talk position by position. We'll bring in some FanDuel. And, of course, we'll bring in the sim segment at the end. We also have some membership giveaways today. Our guy, Big Daddy Kane, still with 3 free months to give away. So start lobbying for your free membership in the chat now. Before I bring my guys in, I want to remind everyone very quickly, this show is brought to you and presented by runthesims.com. Go to runthesims.com. Use promo code SHIPIT to get 10% off. The best time to do it is for showdown slates. They've got all kinds of other tools over there, but as you'll be able to see at the end, we'll break it all down from a showdown perspective. Hoop, bring you in, man. I said the best game of the season. We were talking a little pre-show. I don't even know if I'll watch it, though. Obviously, a lot of sarcasm there. This might be a time to get your Christmas Day hall pass of, but I won't be around the family as much on Christmas Day with NBA and NFL DFS on the go. But tonight, that Thursday night football game, I was wide open for you. What's up, man? What's going on?
Yeah, we were joking, pre-show, trying to figure out, what we're willing to do to not watch this game. And I have to take my daughter to basketball practice tonight. Usually I drop her off, come back home, finish building the lineups, and then watch the game. Tonight, I think I might be staying at practice and watching 11-year-old girls practice basketball instead of watching this one. It's going to be ugly. And like you said, it is a good reason to build up some brownie points, whether it's with your wife, your girlfriend. You're like, you know what, honey? I don't need to watch football tonight. I'll hang out. We can, cook some dinner, watch a movie, cuddle on the couch, that sort of thing. So if you need to build up some points, I think tonight is the night to get that done. This is an ugly one, 30 total. Obviously we'll break it down, see what we like, see what we find, and then obviously get over SHIPITNation.com where our content goes up nice and early so you can digest it all. But from an entertainment standpoint, it's low. It ranks low.
Yeah, it definitely does. We'll bring you in a second here, Title. Before I do, want to let everyone know, smash that like button on the way in. Subscribe to the Ship It Nation YouTube station. I brought that up earlier. Subscribe here on the Mayo Media Network. But for the Ship It Nation YouTube station, we're almost to 5,000 subscribers. So you want to get over there, even if it just takes 2 seconds right now. You can pause the video. If you're watching this on playback, hop over as a remembering piece to go over, actually hit subscribe, because once we get to 5,000, we are giving away a $599 annual membership. And probably Title brought that up because I know what he's going to say already. I love my guy. He's going to say, you know what? You boys say what you want, but there's money to be made tonight.
That's what the chat's saying too. The chat is onto that too, and I agree. I put that comment up there. There is, and definitely, let's get into it. Let's see what we can find. There's a couple other comments in here, like way to sell it, Hoop. Listen, the one thing we've always said, we're not bullshitters here. We hit you with the facts. We hit you straight. Not going to sugarcoat this one. And then a couple other things I want to touch on real fast. Are the tools phone, tablet friendly and best utilized in laptop? We built our tools, so they're all very mobile friendly, so you don't need to worry about that. And then all the comments come in, bad money, bad game, money still to be shipped, 100% agree. Our girl DGA, what she put, where did that go? Yeah, ugly, but ugly can still bring in the money. No doubt about that. I definitely still stand by that comment. But I'm just saying, if you need that extra stuff, don't be afraid to sit this one out.
Is she making fun of ugly people, though? Or is she saying, ugly can still bring in the money, though? Or is she talking with DFS? I don't know.
Depends where you operate. Depends what streets you operate on.
Let Title in here. Title, I was, speaking for you, but I know how you always feel, man. And you're probably actually sitting baback and watching this game tonight, too. You're excited for this one. I can tell.
I need more. I need more your impersonations of me. That was awesome, man. I know, because you're right. Hey, you're right. I knew what you were going to say, too. What, $300,000? Hey, I don't care what game I'm watching. I don't care if I'm watching girls basketball practice. Even if it wasn't my daughter, I'd watch Hoop's daughter practice if I'm winning $300,000. I don't care what game's on. So, yeah, I'll probably be watching it. DFS, Showdown I'm amazed the nut sweat, in my opinion. But Showdown second, because one play, you can be in 1,000th place in that big thing. Like it was like Tony. Like I needed the Tony Hail Mary on Sunday Night Football. I was like 10 points back. But when you're 10 points back, like what other sport could one play could change like $100,000? So yeah, I mean, it's going to be gross football, no doubt about that, but money can be made. And talking like Mitch Trubisky, like at least he does have some legs on him to make it a little interesting that way. The split at running back for Pittsburgh. So you can paint yourself, always trying to have a positive mindset. You can paint yourself a picture where it's a pretty fun DFS slate.
Yeah, and I will say I got, come around to it a little bit more. I think I have some good strategies for tonight. Like I said, I'm not playing DFS. My slate plan will be up on the site. I'll have plenty of money on the line to play, get the action in. I just may actually, like I say, not have it on the main TV. We can always throw it over on the side one there. And just in case there's any play that happens, we'll have to see what that looks like. But before we get into it, I want to remind everyone about ShipItNation.com. They were just said it at the top. We are going to be giving away 3 monthly memberships on this show. So if you've wanted to get in, now's the time, right? Obviously, if you look at it here, go to Join the Nation. There is a weekly option, but it's missing Discord. So we're very clear on that. We've talked about it plenty of times up front. No Discord with that. Right now, we do have the promo on. So if you go here, actually right now, this one's still on. Hoop, we didn't disconnect it yet, but try 20 gets you $20 off your first month. So I bring that up because if I take this back here for $49 instead of $69, you can just go up and get a full month. It does include the Discord. You'll be able to get in, see everything that we've got going on. And lastly, if you don't want to buy in right now, if it's not the time, holidays are around the corner, whatever it might be, if you don't want to watch the game tonight and you want to actually work on your DFS Showdown game, you can go to the site right now. Again, pause the video if you're watching on live, playback, whatever it might be. If you're live, open up another tab. Go over to ShipItNation.com, free, no credit card, nothing required. You can even click the picture now and get in and see what it's all about. The table of contents is there. Everything you get within the course. It's a 45-minute mini course. You just enter your email and sign up. You'll get the link sent directly to you. And then, of course, later on, as always, we'll get to the sim runner. We'll get to the sim segment. Hoop, bring you in. Anything else to add from you? If not, you can give me your grand scheme overview, how you see the game going, or if you want to throw in some DFS stuff as well. When it comes back around to me, I'm going to give some early ideas on how I think I'm going to be playing this one.
Yeah, so I mean, the obvious, I think, talking point on this slate is we see, the lowest total. I mean, it's been the lowest total for how many years? I mean, it's the craziest number, sitting at 30. It's like super, super low. Offensive pieces clearly out on both sides. Throw in the fact that these defenses have just crushed on showdown slates. Like, these defenses are going to be owned. Like, there's no doubt about it. You have the Steelers defense at 6,600. Then you have the Patriots defense at 5K. So they are priced up a little bit higher than we typically see on the defenses, but they're still going to come in at what I think is ownership that is way too high. So not saying I'm going to, fully fade them at this point, but I like to get overweight on my guys, my key guys. I just don't know how you can get overweight on the Steelers or the Patriots defense. They'll be overowned in the captain. They'll be overowned in the flex, and they're both going to score like multiple touchdowns and sacks and interceptions and all that sort of thing. But again, if that happens, it's not going to be a good night for me because there's just no way I can get overweight on those plays. So I will be hoping for some scoring tonight, which might be wishful thinking when you look at the total sitting there at 30 and you look at the offensive pieces on the Patriots side. The Pittsburgh side, it looks to be a little more competent offensively. 2 running backs that can get there, multiple pass catchers, and a quarterback that has experience starting and can run a little bit. So I don't know. I'm going to be playing this game to score a little bit, and hope these defenses get smashed.
Yeah, I hope so too. Our guy Go Collect brings up a good point there. Is tune in for the last little bit. If you got the sweat, turn it back on. Whatever, maybe that's the case. Definitely like that. I think everybody is thinking like Zim. We'll come around to that one in a second. Everyone talking about how good the Discord is. Again, if you want to get in, let us know. If you're not a member and you want to get in, start lobbying in the chat for why it would help you, why you would need it, what you've been working on, anything like that you can throw in there. Some days we're looking at it from, have you been injured lately? Other days we're looking at it, do you have children that you need to support? So you never know how we're going to pick the winners. Hoopster always, he's got his heart going one way or the other, but try and get behind it and get to Hoop's heart. Maybe you can find a way. There was a good question here too, Title, before I get in with your thoughts. Someone said, any advice for people who just play the single entry tournaments? I don't know. I'll let Title throw his thoughts in a second, but I for sure said it in the Discord the other day. We're always talking process in there and ideas. I think you either just do it one of two ways. Personally, I understand the side that says look, I just want to win some money. This game is going to be 9-6. I'm playing 2 kickers. I'm playing 2 defenses, and I'm picking a couple pass catchers, and that's it. I'm good with that. It's your money. It's entertainment. It's one shot. I also look at it the other way, though, is like it's $300K up top. It's just entertainment. You're throwing it against the wall. I'm not saying go pick some diamond in the rough. Like if Connor Hayward and Darnell Washington both score a touchdown, I'll win it all to myself, or throw Mac Jones in and hope he gets in as a backup or something. I'm not doing that, but I do think just some flip of the roster construction. If everyone's going to own Zeke, Warren, or Najee or something, maybe you go with a Devontae Parker captain, take your best shot that way. I don't know. Title, do you have thoughts on single entries on something like a showdown slate? And then your thoughts on how you see this game playing out.
Yeah, I mean, just have realistic goals. If you're only playing one team every single slate, just know it's really hard to bank. So at least do that. But just go with what you think is going to happen. You have one bullet. If you think it's a low-scoring game, you think kickers, defenses, yes, we're talking they're going to be over-owned. They probably will be. But if you're watching the game, you want whatever you think your script's going to play out happen. We play a lot of lineups. We have multiple different scripts. So I say you play one team, pick a game script, see what makes sense to you. I do agree with Tambo. Like, you got to mix in something pretty low owned, whether it's a different captain, leave money on the table, etc. But don't get too crazy. I mean, you really got, like, even if you get the PJ Washingtons right of the world, as we saw last showdown, you still need to get other stuff right. And that's really hard at one lineup. So yeah, pick a game script, roll with it. As far as how I see it, captains, I'm on the same page with Hoop. Won't be playing defense as that captain. I don't think kicker is the craziest thing in this game, just because of where the price is and what it gets you. But I'll mainly be playing. I like the running backs on all the sides. I get it with Zeke. JaMychal Hasty, like I think it's Zeke, gets 70% of the work, something like that. JaMychal Hasty all the way at $200 will be very interesting in the flex. I think you can get away with it maybe at the captain. If he falls in the box, he's going to be very low owned. You can leave a ton of money on that team. So I don't think it's crazy. I like the running backs in this game, though. Both teams love to pound the ball. They don't want to drop Trubisky or Zappy back if they don't have to. Bleed out the clock. So give me running backs on both sides. Jalen Warren, Najee, you can definitely play him in lineups. Like, even if you have Warren or Najee captain, I still think you can play the other one in the flex because it's such a low-scoring game. Like, don't expect to see the winner score 120 or 120 be on the optimal for that. You could see like 75, 88. It's going to be a low-scoring slate, so just getting all the points with Warren and Harris, I'm good doing as well. My favorite pass catchers, I think it's Pickens on the Steelers side. He just has that upside. He's the most expensive, so his ownership should be in check there. As far as the other side, I don't know. Tyquan Thornton, I think, is interesting, Tam. But you mentioned him last week on the main slate at like no ownership, so you have to like him. I was thinking about this. You have to love him this week, and he's right in the range of Juju, which I think keeps his ownership in check as well. He has that big play upside. I think he's interesting in captain as well. So I don't think you need to just go studs. You can definitely leave money on the table. I'm with Hoop, though. I'm hoping to see some points. And I don't like Zappy. I do like Trubisky. Someone was, I don't know if he was chirping or not, saying like Trubisky's legs, he's really trying to sell himself on this game. Yeah, I mean, he ain't Lamar Jackson by any means, but he also ain't Peyton Manning. So I am trying to sell myself on this game. I will have some at captain because I don't think it's crazy if he scampers and gets 25, 30 on the ground.
Yeah, and he can leverage up some of those running backs, even though he can still pass to them as well. Yeah. But I think that's one of the things I'm going to be thinking about. Sean was going with us. He's always chatting up, bringing some good stuff to the Discord. He's a member over at SHIPIT Nation. Said, you got to play to win. I agree. That's how I play. Definitely, if I only had the one single entry and I'm in it and I'm just trying to play one lineup per week or slate, I'm playing like this. That's how I would play it because I want to win when I win. But it's like I get other people that just say, hey, man, I'm chucking $20. I just want to make some cash on it. And if it happens to hit, great. But if not, I'd like to still hit that min cash so that I can go again the next round. I understand that fully. I think you should be battling from the start of the season to kind of figure out where you're at with your bankroll and whatnot. Somebody else here, Tokyo Swan, this is my thoughts before I go to Hoop on the captains, and it will segue in. But like, you can get different today just building a regular DFS lineup without thinking it's an under game. Yeah. I think about this a lot today. I usually can sell myself on a lot of things. I can't really get to like these full on like opposite 5-1s as much. Like, a New England 5-1, can I build it? Yeah, maybe some fall in there, but it'll be still way underweight to what I would normally have or something like that. I feel like what's way better on this slate to leverage via low owned captains and crazier roster and just like flip the roster construction. Like, again, here's a thought today that I have, Hoop. is I know I'm not playing any defense at captain. I just don't care if it beats me. Like I said, move on. But I may actually, I'm going to say underweight, so it's not held against me. I'm definitely going to be way, way, way underweight defenses all over and completely. 0 in the captain and way underweight in the flex. And the reason is because then I can just get an amazing lineup. Like every dude in it is again, I know people forget about this. This is a showdown single game slate, not a main slate. So when you have like literally last week on this very show, people were telling me about playing Warren and Najee in the same lineup on an 11-game slate. Title just talked about it. You can clearly do that on a single game slate, but you're telling me those guys were good enough in that spot for that option then? I mean, if you can do that here, you can get all the guys. You can play Elliott, both running backs. You can play Trubisky, whatever. These are still starting quarterbacks. These are still wide receiver ones for their team. This is 2 really good coaches, and I know that can lead to defense, but it can lead to people outsmarting each other as well. You got Mike Tomlin, Bill Belichick, 2 guys that have played each other for a long, long time in the same conference. So I think there's definitely some opportunity here to have it go back and forth. And I think low-owned captains and just thinking about leverage. Here's an example, Hoop, and I'll let you talk captains. Look, some people have caught on now to playing defense against captain more than what we would have seen a year ago. Sure. But what I'm saying is if you have a Trubisky in the captain tonight, it's almost unlike it's either the Steelers D or no D that's probably going with him in the lineup if he's in captain, because people are either building out a strong Steelers build or they're going the other way. And to me, it's like, here's the deal. Just play both quarterbacks and don't play any defenses. And now you can get their best pass catchers, their best running backs, whatever with them. So long way to say it all, but I think there's lots of opportunity tonight to just leverage and be different via low-owned captains and different roster constructions. Hoop, talk to me what else you got there. And then, of course, captain selections. Where are you thinking right now you're at with captains? Obviously, It'll be in your player pool later on.
Just one more talking point about the defenses. And, I think it's a good way to leverage the slate, like you talked about. I mean, the percentage of lineups that include either like a captain defense or a flex defense has to be like 60-65% that has some combination of their captain defense or captain in the flex. So if you're like way underweight or potentially fade and it goes your way, you're only competing with, in my eyes, maybe 30 to 35% of the field at that point to ship the whole thing tonight. So I do like that strategy. Again, I'm not saying I'm fading them just because of the nature of the slate, but I will be way underweight and I won't be playing them in the captain. So that's one thing I want to make clear. I mean, it's just easier to go with the Pittsburgh side because they have so many options. Yeah, they have Trubisky, who does have some upside on the ground. And just to reiterate, like what Title said, is he's not a Lamar Jackson or anything like that. But on this slate where we have a 30 total, like him rushing the ball 5 times for 20 yards in a normal game would be like somebody rushing it 10 times for 50 yards or something like that. So, I mean, every little play means a lot more today. So that's why I really want guys in captain that are pass catchers, because every little uptick they can get with those 1 points for just a bullshit little 5-yard pass or something goes much deeper on this slate where we could see the winning scores in the 70s or 80s opposed to 120. So I really want to emphasize getting those PPR guys up top. So, Deontay Johnson, I'm good with. Jaylen Warren is a guy that I'll be looking at. Pickens is a guy I'll be looking at. Najee Harris, I don't know. I don't anticipate myself having a ton of him. He was questionable as well. So maybe Warren does get a little bit more work tonight. So I do like Warren, I think, over him. I could potentially have some Harris up there. Not sure yet. Freiermuth, I'm going to have some of him. And then on the Patriots side, it is very difficult to sell yourself on a Patriots guy today. You look at a guy like Zeke, he is going to get ownership. I got to really dig into what I'm going to do with Zeke. And then obviously it'll be available on the website and whatnot. But I do think just by the nature of this slate, everywhere you look, he's the highest projected guy. He's going to be up there at a high rate. And he fucking sucks. Like, he's just not good at football. So, like, do I want to try to match the field on Zeke captain? At this point, I'm going to say probably not. But then the part that kind of scares me a little bit is pulling up last week where he had 5 targets. Like, those 5 targets, I keep talking about it. Like, I want the guys that can get that 1 extra point for a catch. The 5 targets last week is like, man, maybe I should look at him a little closer. So I'm curious to see what you guys say about Zeke. I can't sell myself on these other Patriots guys. So, I mean, I can't do it. And it probably really doesn't matter what you guys say. I just don't think I can pull the trigger on many of these guys. it's going to be Pittsburgh guys, specifically the pass catchers, Trubisky. And then I got to make a big decision on Zeke because, man, he just sucks at football.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key factor, what you just talked about. The main thing about Zeke that everyone's saying, and why I think there is, like, obviously the ownership is leaning that way when people are going a Patriot, is that he was already getting guaranteed carries. Like, he was getting his stuff. He was even getting some targets. He was getting all that. We know what it is. When they get down there close, they can just try and jam him. It could work out. They can just fall into it. But now when you remove Ramondre, of course, and I should note that too, Title, I'll come to you on this one, but like Najee expected to play. I would expect Juju to be out there. He's still Q-tagged. But again, all these situational ones, we expect to be out there. The guys that are out are already marked out, so we know what it is. Like Pop Douglas, Kenny Pickett's obviously been hurt. Ramondre now out from last week, all that stuff. But Title, any thoughts different from you up top than what Hoop mentioned, and where are you going at with the captain position? Ooh, we should let him go.
Let's go, baby.
Woo,
I like that call. That's a good call, Title. Actually, it's a really good call.
I like that guy.
Yeah.
Good strategy, too.
The only thing that I'm looking for inactives is Hoop's loving it. Hoop's dying over there.
It's been a while. Hey, maybe I should start muting myself. Maybe I'll start winning these slates a little more often.
Yeah, I need some luck there. The only news I'm looking at for inactives really is Kevin Harris. He's also $200 if he's going to be active for the Patriots in the backfield. I don't know. Like Hasty's going to get some ownership. Maybe Harris would work in. I know our guy Ben's talking about Ty Montgomery. They haven't really used him out of the backfield too much. I don't think I can get to any Ty Montgomery. He's not even $200. He's $2,600. So really, it's just Kevin Harris I'm looking at. As far as Zeke and captain, he looks to be the highest owned captain. He's the highest projected on the slate, where salary isn't that difficult. So I'm with Hoop. I want to be underweight, but I think especially you play 150 Hoop. Like Zappy's so bad, he just dumps it down. Like he's gonna have pressure in his face and be like, all right, who's the closest one to me? It's Zeke. He can definitely, I feel like, catch 5 to 7 passes for 0 yards, but that'd still be enough there. So yeah, he's probably going to be 15, 20% captain. Maybe I'll be around 10 and be fine there underweight. I said I like Tyquan Thornton on the Pats. If I played anyone else, it'd be like Devontae Parker, Hunter Henry. They're running the same guys. It's all Thornton. It's all Devontae Parker. It's all Juju and 3 receiver sets. Hunter Henry's the other one. Like Gesicki, Booty, like all these dudes are pretty irrelevant. So yeah, I like Thornton's price and Zeke, I guess, a little bit. But the Steelers, I like. I'll be playing Pickens. I like Najee and Warren. When you look at the touchdown odds, I'll leave it at that and throw it back to you, Tambo. Plus 180 for Zeke. The next highest on the Patriots is plus 500 and plus 550 for Parker and Henry. So that's also why Zeke, like you mentioned, 5-1 builds. Everyone just wants to go Zeke because every other button's so gross. Whereas the Steelers side, you at least got better. Warren plus 165, Najee plus 170, Freiermuth plus 320, Pickens plus 330, Deontay plus 340. So I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I'm in agreement with a lot of what Hoop said.
Yeah, and also we're still waiting on this. The Kevin Harris one you brought up is for sure key because otherwise Hasty could be okay at the 200. If it's both of them or one of them, then you can go from there. But this one too, so this is just a note so people know, obviously the backup. He was reverted back. He was brought up last week, didn't play. This is Malik Cunningham, the QB3 for the Patriots after Mac Jones, who started the season, Zappy, who's now in tonight, and then Malik Cunningham. But he was reverted back to the practice squad. He's getting anxious and antsy. I know it won't be announced, I think, for an hour and a half or another half hour maybe till they announce the elevations. But he's posting pictures on his IG from Pittsburgh being like, yeah, like, so I'm assuming he might be giving away and hinting that the fact that he has an idea that he's going to be elevated tonight. I'm not trying to play backup quarterbacks. I'm just letting you know, like that was the talk last week. If it happened and it wins someone 300,000, congrats to you. I'll be excited for you. That would be a way to get to the top if you're that single entry guy out there and you just want to throw it in. If he gets elevated, we'll mention it in our Discord once we get the news. Then go ahead. Like if you want to try it, it's not for me, but I definitely could see if Zappy's sucking at the half where they decide to try another angle out and just see if he can spark it. That could happen. So more likely than not in any other slate, but probably still not for me. If there's anything changes, I'll let you guys know. I can't see it personally. So one thing I will say though, outside of those touchdown odds that Title just brought up, which are true, and we use those for some things, but like, man, my point is when you go to some of these Patriots captains, if I'm already happy being off the defenses, Hunter Henry, Devontae Parker, Juju, assuming he plays, like if those guys caught a touchdown, would I be surprised tonight? Absolutely not. And that may be all it takes. If Hunter Henry got 2 touchdowns tonight randomly. It could happen. Would you be like, oh my God, how could this ever have happened on a single game slate like this with 2 terrible teams? You'd be like, oh, of course it happened. Like, that's all you would say. So I don't think I'm going to shy away from very much when it comes to that stuff. I think what I'm shying away from is like the defenses, the kickers, the 5-1 builds either way, really. Like, that's more of how I'm looking at this slate as we lead into it. So I don't know, Hoop, if you got anything else to add. If not, you could take us into these running backs, and you've mentioned them up at the captain slot. You've already talked a little about Zeke and the 2 Steelers side. But anything else you want to mention when it comes to running backs for the slate?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely, regardless of what you do with Zeke and the captain, I think you have to play him in the flex, because if this score does hold true, like 1 touchdown is probably optimal. Whatever touchdowns happen, you're just going to need that guy on your team, and then the dump off thing. So yeah, I mean, Zeke either way. I like Warren over Najee. I'll have some of both, but I actually do really like Jalen Warren tonight at 8K. Najee Harris 8,400, and then JaMychal Hasty will be pretty popular, I imagine. $200 should be in the backup role, and then the big news, like Titlestone, is whether or not Kevin Harris is active tonight. He is also $200. I think he will be active, though, because I mean, they're going to want multiple guys here with Ramondre Stevenson out. So it's pretty clear for me. Like Zeke and Warren, I like quite a bit for flex plays. Warren I like in the captain. I guess Zeke I'll reluctantly play in the captain as well. Fine with Najee, JaMychal Harris. I'll be playing all these running backs. I mean, the $200 guys are obviously less valuable on a slate that we predict to be low scoring, but I'll have some of both most likely.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise. Hoop likes Warren over Najee.
Who would have guessed? Although, just remember, though, if we look back on the season, there was 1 week I said we're on Najee, and he scored like 20. So, I mean, you got to give me a little credit there.
Yeah, you
right?
did. You're right. That's it was a $4,900 week, and you got it right. So that's true. Yes. Whenever Hoop is on someone that he usually hates on, he somehow always picks the absolute perfect time to get on them. So that was the case.
Well this season, yeah.
Dak, Najee, Trevor Lawrence, all those weeks that you were on these guys, they popped off. But what was the other thing I was going to say? There was something else somebody mentioned that I was going to bring up. So, yeah, Theo, we don't want to win, assuming I see the GOAT with Tom Brady in a Steelers jersey there. So we don't want to win. That is why they are not playing Malik. So could be true. Someone else said there's nobody worse than Zappy. It's obviously that he's worse than Mac Jones. But just to bring that up, I will say this. We had the Mixon 2 touchdown bet on Monday night. That was nice. Hit that one. Our guy Smarty had it in the chat. The Twitter doctors say there is absolutely no way. Don't expect much from Najee. There's nothing Najee can really do. I know it's not like it's transferring or translating, I should say, to ownership, but you could bet the Najee 2 touchdown bet tonight and just hope he falls in twice. It's definitely possible. He doesn't have to go very far. And even then, Hoop, I threw it in our Discord. What was it? A week and a half ago? He has like the most 15+ yard runs of any running back in the entire NFL. So it's just those few plays that the steel toe boots come off and he's able to roll through it and make it happen. So I don't know. It's tough to say. Also, Title, as I kick it to you for running backs, the chat mentioned it earlier. So the People's Parlay, it ended last week, but the People's Parlay is still correct on the side. If you remember last week, there was no way the Bengals with Browning could be in this game at all. They're going to lose. The 10-point spread is a joke. Like, they can't even cover that. And then they come out and get the job done. So the parlay lost because the chat did like the over. It got to the over. If you throw in the chat right now, do you think this game is going to go over or under the 30 points? And I don't know if you put your team with it this time. Put over or under, and then Steelers or Pats, whatever you got. I'd imagine we're going to see a lot of the Steelers. Title, I'll kick it to you. Talk to us a little bit. And Hoop, if you can find a winner for the first membership, because we got 3 to give away. Let's let Title talk about the running backs, and we'll come back to you.
Yeah, a lot of the same thoughts as Hoop. I like Zeke a lot in the flex. I like him more than I do at the captain. And then the Kevin Harris news is definitely interesting. As far as the Steelers, I like Warren more than Najee as well, but I'll be playing both. It's the only 2 running backs you play there. The big one is, like JaMychal Hasty at 200. I think Hoop's right. I think Kevin Harris will be active as well. And if anyone sees any beat reporters or any coach speak or anything, definitely tag us in Discord. But if we don't get anything and he's active, like Hasty right now is probably 10%. Like, there's a couple guys down there in that range. It's not like we have nothing. but none of it's strong. I mean, you're still only hoping for a couple points. If Kevin Harris isn't active, you'd have to think like 70-30 something, and Hasty would be strong and probably fall in the boat, not played enough in the flex if he's only is like 10%, like the Ronnie Bell situation or something. But if Kevin Harris is active, what do you think, Tambo? Like, is it just avoid it? Is it, I mean, what do you think it does to Hasty's ownership? I have no clue after that.
I just don't think either of them get much anyway. Like either way, I think what ends
like
up happening
100% Zeke.
What's that?
You think it's 100% Zeke pretty much, and he's just.
Well, no, I'm saying like as far as what we know what the field is doing, talking DFS, yeah, they're on Zeke. But what you're saying is like what does Kevin Harris, if he's active, do to the other spots? I'm saying I just don't see either him or Hasty. Let's say Kevin Harris isn't active and it just is Hasty. I still don't think we see a big boost to Hasty, even though he's $200 and he's behind. I just think you don't need 10%. To go there tonight. And so I don't see enough people doing it. Now, that doesn't mean don't go there. I'm saying I don't think people think they need to go there. Therefore, it's just not going to fall in to a lot of builds. But if they're both active somehow, then to me, it would be like it's really tough even then because you're just guessing at a spot. Like, how would you know? Like you said, maybe you get some coach speak last week. Apparently, I had to look into this one further, like the Chase Brown stuff on Monday. There was coach speak, but there was coach speak for like 3 weeks in a row or so. So just you can keep chasing. Like, for example, right now, Pete Carroll for the Seahawks, he's been talking about McIntosh forever. I know this week we're waiting to see with like Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet is injured. Now it's like, what are we going to do? DJ Dallas with the bulky, with the poppy eyes there that he's poking out on the pictures on the apps. Everyone's trying to make fun of. Maybe we finally see a McIntosh, but it's the same thing in this game. I don't know what these teams are going to do regardless, but I just look at the overall roster construction and I don't see how you get there without just leaving a bunch of money on the table.
Yeah, which is something I do, which is always why I look at it, because if they do randomly fall in the box, you get a big leg up. I agree with you. I don't think the field changes much. If Kevin Harris is active, like if he's not active, I would like Hasty. I'd definitely play him. If he's active, I don't know. It's just like the PJ Watt. You play a lot of lineups. You just randomly mix in a couple of them because they're 1%, but probably would take me off them.
And then what's the deal too was Ty Montgomery as well. What's going on with him? He's 26.
Yeah, he hardly saw any work.
Doesn't he usually do the kickoffs and
he's a special teams guy. But like it was literally just like they didn't rotate any of the three receivers, and it was just Hasty and Zeke that got the work in the backfield. So I think he got a couple snaps, but I mean 2,600. Like I'd rather take a shot at 200. Even one play can do something. Montgomery actually needs something. I don't know. It's not the craziest. He might be out there a couple snaps. The game's so gross. Anything goes, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Hoop, I'll come back to you on the pass catching side of things. You can, talk all the wide receivers you want here. Give us your thoughts at wide receiver. Did you find a winner for the first monthly membership? Yeah,
it was an early comment, and it's a nice comment, and I'm going to hold him. I believe this to be true. He's raising money for family with sick kids, want a chance to win some money, make a donation. Has been watching all season and appreciates the consideration. So, hopefully you can get yourself signed up, get some money, and make that donation.
Yeah, Jeff, appreciate you, man, and everything that you're doing there. Just hit us up, info@shipitnation.com. Screenshot your YouTube account, send it over. I'll get you set up with the code and everything that you need to get in this evening before the slate starts. So after the show hops off, if you sent the email by then, I'll get it out to you right away. Go ahead, Hoop. Talk to us about these wide receivers. Congrats to Jeff.
Yes. Man, it's, feel good about Deontay, obviously. I mean, I'm kind of always a sucker, not a sucker for him, but it's like DK scoring. He sometimes gets peppered, obviously, with Trubisky in there. Could be a little bit different, but, Deontay Johnson is a DK guy. And I guess, one comment to touch on, someone mentioned in the chat, which is 100% true. If this game was on the main slate, like we wouldn't even be considering any of these guys. You have to come in here and start making cases. You have to start making reasons why you're going to play these guys, and how that relates to Deontay Johnson. Again, he's a possession type guy. He can rack up a lot of points in the reception department. So I am going to be on him. Obviously, I'm going to be on Pickens. I plan to play Trubisky in the captain spot, so I'm just naturally going to be on these guys. I'll mix in some Allen Robinson as well on the Pittsburgh side. Calvin Austin, I don't know. And that's a good point you guys brought up. It's like, man, like these cheap guys, you don't necessarily need them tonight to build out your teams. Like they're not a necessity, but like Title said, if one of these random guys finds the end zone at cheap, you're going to have the chance for like maybe a unique team, because you're going to be leaving a lot of money on the table where people will just naturally be forcing up to spend. So I don't mind like forcing in some of these cheaper guys like a Allen Robinson. If he randomly catches a touchdown and you have a team that has like $5,000 on the table, has a chance to, you know, be a low chop situation. You know, I don't know necessarily about unique, but a lower chop situation. So I feel good about getting exposure to the Pittsburgh guys for sure. You know, the Patriots guys obviously scare me a little bit, and I plan on just, you know, taking whatever I can get from these guys in terms of ownership. Not really going to force much with it, but, you know, Devontae Parker, Juju Smith, Tyquan Thornton, all guys that I'll be playing tonight to some degree. These are guys that, you know, they're like Devontae Parker's a great example. He's right there with those defenses, and you know those defenses are going to be like super highly owned. Devontae Parker is going to be lower owned than those defenses, and if he finds the end zone and the defenses don't, he probably beats them. So, you know, I like him as a pivot off the defenses, and then Juju and Tyquan are kind of in their own category, 3,800, 3,400. I'll be getting some exposure to those guys as well. You know, a little definitely less than the Pittsburgh guys because I'm going to play Trubisky and captain, and I just don't know how the hell I could ever click Zappy's name for captain. So that's kind of where I'm at, but I do plan on getting exposure to most of these wide receivers tonight.
Yeah, what's the chat talking about? The connection, the Mitch Trubisky and A-Rob connection. They've actually got quite a bit of stats together. I just had to look it up to see the Trubisky and A-Rob Chicago history. Maybe that could be the case, but like Neil says, actually, Allen Robinson, the cardio king, like Terry McLaurin the other day. As far as the comment, I'll wait before title goes here about like if it was on the main slate versus on the showdown slate. That's what's the saying? Like if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. Like
yeah, exactly.
Game slate. The show is literally about one game. Like that's why we're talking about it. And trust me, I'd rather not be. I love being here with you all, but this game, as we said off the top, is horrendous. But that is absolutely why we're talking about this game. It doesn't really matter what would happen on the main slate. Corey Nolan, don't know if they're true or false, but to get his picture up on the screen for a second, bringing some stats in. 6 games with Trubisky's got 10, 6, 5, 2, 8, and 7. So maybe you pair up Robinson and Deontay with Trubisky and try and run something off of that and get off the running backs. I wouldn't hate that. And I won't argue against Josh. He's always in here supporting, appreciate him. But like, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers defense might be double the ownership of Zappy tonight. So again, for good reason, and why you could be right with this statement, not coming at you, just saying in general of the leverage is to play Zappy and not that defense, or you could put Zappy with that defense and try and get different that way. But I definitely think there's an opportunity there for you know, the quarterbacks to be unique and playing both of them with no defense. When we talked about some ownerships being 60% or something, that could be certainly be something as well. Title, your thoughts here? Anything else you want to add on these wide receivers or anything?
Man, it feels good to be lockstep with Hoop. I agree with pretty much everything. Like I'll be playing some Allen Robinson. He's always on the field. It's going to be supposed to be a low scoring game. Points will probably be low. So like one catch for one touchdown goes longer than it does on some of these other slates. Give me a guy that's low owned that's going to be on the field. Devontae Parker. Like I don't think we've ever seen a showdown slate with the cumulative ownership as low as it's going to be at these wide receiver position. Like they're all pretty much contrarian. It's crazy. Like my least favorite. So there's really only 6 guys that I can click. Yes, if you 150, like the Calvin Austins, that stuff, sure. But the 3 guys on both teams, Patriots is Tyquan Thornton, Devontae Parker, Juju. We'll get all the 3 receiver sets, and it'll be Deontay Johnson, Pickens, Allen Robinson on the other side. So really only 6 I can look at. Juju's by far my least favorite. He's just not very good. Again, he's cheap. Like he can fall in the box. That's fine. 3,800. I'll have a little. I like Thornton for 400 less. I like Allen Robinson for 800 less. So he's my least favorite. I like Pickens the most at MVP, but I think the least at flex. And that's just usually because when he does, I don't know, maybe it's just thinking I know more than I really do, but it feels like when he does get there, he just has those monster games or he catches a long one. So I'll get there at captain. And if he doesn't, the range of outcomes can be less, whereas Deontay feels like a safer floor. So yeah, I think I like Pickens, definitely my favorite captain. My second least favorite at the flex. All these guys, though, yeah, I'm right in the Tyquan Thornton train, Allen Robinson, Deontay in the flex, Devontae Parker. I like all of them. I'm on Team Hoop, baby. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Over.
Yeah.
Over. These are one after the other. Over.
All right.
Over.
So
Woo!
Steelers in the under, or Patriots in the under.
The people's parlay is Patriots to cover. So plus 5.5. The Patriots, if you can get 6 out there, still obviously better. And then the under 30. That's the build where the Steelers win it. Or sorry, the Patriots win it and keep the Steelers in check, and it stays under. I do think that's kind of interesting, though. Like the number's 30 and just hovered there all day. It's enough to make enough people think, like just to sit back and say, how does it not go over 30? Like that's so low. But if they put it at like 26, you're like, these are NFL teams. I'm hammering that. 30 just stares at you in the face. So we'll see. But I will say this, the people's parlay failed last week for the first time, but the sides have still been correct every single time. So if you want to hit the Patriots plus 5.5, not take the full risk, or plus 6 if you can still get it out there, don't hate that one as well. Again, people saying it's true. Patriots be lucky to score 3. This feels like a real possibility for either side. I definitely think that we'll have to see. And Hobie, I don't know what to tell you, man, but that's a lot, my friend.
Move on. I don't know what side. I mean, I have zero idea where you're at, but man, like, don't get ripped off like that. That's a crazy number, man. That's a crazy number. Don't do that to yourself. Pay less, play more. You come over here, $49 a month. You're saving yourself $300 the first month. $300 extra in play.
And we love our crew over here too. We got good people. The Discord's loaded with smart, sharp players, guys and girls. People bringing all the news day in, day out. And even this YouTube chat's usually pretty sharp. This was the first time I think it's got brought up all day. That did you know it's a Juju revenge game? Yeah. There we go.
It just came up real recent though. It's been this whole show without talking about it. I was just gonna bring it up.
Yeah,
is it revenge? Like someone was talking. Is it revenge? Like more so Juju? Like defense isn't gonna let Juju beat him. Like Juju can't. We always talk about it in basketball, or like when we're on the show. It's basketball. You're the point guard. You control how much you have it. If you want to chuck it, it's pretty easy to do. There's a lot of possessions. Baseball. You're trying to hit the ball regardless if you're going against your old team, old pitcher, et cetera, et cetera. You only get 4 at bats. Football, you still need Bailey Zappi to get you the ball. Yeah. And do you think the OC cares anything about Juju or winning the game? So at the end of the day, like how much, I don't know. That's all my thought process behind it. If it's like and McCaffrey.
And this part too.
Yeah, exactly.
that's a very good point.
If it's McCaffrey against his old team and OC's like, yeah, let's get McCaffrey the ball, I'll buy into stuff like that. But interesting talking point.
Yeah, it is. Joe makes up, our guy Kevlar here, he says DST scoring gets there with sacks and INTs. Doubt the team is going to pass enough. Plus, like the short pass opportunities, like you see a lot of like slot stuff. You see some end arounds where they're not even passing the ball, like carries that way, just jamming them in at the line. Like just all these opportunities. You're going to need a lot more to go your way, I think. And again, if it happens, it happens. And you'll say, oh, I knew that was going to happen. Then you're the side that wants to just put your money on what everybody expects to happen. So go ahead. Let's see it. What do you got?
That's a good. Imagine Juju going out to Bill saying, "Coach, man, I need the ball. I used to play for this squad.
Yeah.
Let me get 12. Let me get 12 targets tonight."
Send his ass to the practice squad.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing is, I make fun of it, but like a month and a half ago, whatever it was, when I needed the Marquise Brown touchdown from the 1 yard line, like no chance in hell I'm getting that. But it was technically a revenge game, and they were getting crushed. And I think they were like, all right, give the guy a touchdown versus his old team. So, but in this case, who knows? But it would be the same. New England getting crushed. And they're like, fine, give Juju a touchdown just to do his dance moves from TikTok in the end zone. We'll see what happens. But I'm not here for revenge narratives. I was trying to go a whole show without it. We did not make it. Title, I'll let you look for the next monthly membership winner while Hoop talks about tight ends, kickers, and defenses. Let's go through it, Hoop. What do you got?
Yeah, so I mean the tight end stuff is very simple. I mean, this position is a touchdown type position, and 2 guys that have proven they can find the end zone and get targets there. Freiermuth and Hunter Henry. Freiermuth, I'll probably play in some captain. Hunter Henry more so in the flex, just because Zappi throwing him the ball scares the shit out of me. But again, if he find 2 catches, 30 yards, and a touchdown, could certainly be optimal tonight in the flex. So good with Henry, good with Freiermuth. I don't necessarily like these cheap guys all that much, like Hayward, Pharaoh Brown's projecting a little bit, and Gesicki. I doubt that I mess with those guys. It's just going to be the main 2 here, Freiermuth and Henry. I'll save defenses for last. Kickers, man, don't love kickers in the stadium. I want to be on kickers today, but this is like the one stadium that's just so tough on kickers. At the end of the day, I will have some, Boswell. I will have some Ryland because, man, if they get down at the end of the half and one of these guys kicks like a 50-yard field goal, flukes away in there, like, man, that could be what you need. Like 8 points from kicker could certainly be enough. So, again, I will have some. I want to like them a little more than I do. But unfortunately, I don't. Just the stadium scares the crap out of me. And then defense, like I said, it's the big talk point. We talked about it a bunch. It's going to be way over-owned in captain, in the flex. There's no way I can get close to these numbers on the ownership. Not saying I'm fading. Definitely not saying I'm fading. I'll be, very underweight. And if the kickers have, or if the defenses have a big game today, I will be losing money. There's no doubt about it. But I will most likely. I don't know the exact number, but it's going to be well below like what the ownership is. There's just no way I can get close to it. So yeah, it's kind of where I'm at on these three positions.
Yeah. Title, do you got the monthly winner there?
Yes, I do. I just scrolled down. Here it is. There we go. Says it how it sees it, or says it how he sees it. Just tuned in late, throwing my head for a free munch. The only reason, because he wants to win. We'll do our best to try and help you do that, man.
Yeah, throws the kid's picture up there to try and get a little look-see in the chat. People are like, oh, that's a cute kid. Maybe we can give them the win. Exactly. And then puts a little note in. But love the honesty, the transparency, if you will, of just, I want to win because I want to win. That's why we play as well. Shout out to Mitch Wright. Mitch, hit us up, info@shipitnation.com. Just need to take a screenshot of your YouTube account to let us know it's you. Congrats on winning that title. Stick with you, man. Talk to us about these final three positions, tight ends, kickers, defenses. Anything to add there?
Yeah, let's start. Defenses, I'll definitely be underweight. Don't like them at captain like you guys either. Really hate Patriots. Steelers, I'll definitely be underweight. They're going to be very popular. I'll probably still get some because, Bailey Zappe's awful. Like, they scored 0 points last week. I can see if Steelers get there, yes, they're going to be over-owned. I can get different in a couple other spots. So I'll have them more than Patriots. As far as kickers, Boswell at 5,400, man, that is up there. I like Ryland more for the $800 savings. Ownership, Ryland, 15, the high teens? I can get behind Ryland for sure. Low scoring game, 40-yard bomb, 2 field goals. It's always so funny, man. I never sweat like the 39 40-yarders, the 49 50-yarders. I never sweat something so hard in those extra points in Showdown for kickers. I like Ryland, though. As far as tight ends, I don't know. Fryermuth's still like Hayward's rotating in. Darnell Washington's rotating in. I'll have some at $200. They're so low owned. Like, those could be the PJ Washingtons. I know Nade's told me not to bring up that name anymore, but they're going to be on the field. They catch a touchdown. You can win a lot of.
Isn't PJ Washington from the Charlotte Hornets last
He
night?
is, but isn't that the receiver? Isn't it PJ Washington as well? That's like,
I don't know if it was PJ with P. It's definitely a P.
It was P something. It was P something.
You're talking about Parker Washington?
Parker Washington.
I'm tilted right now. I needed like 8 points from PJ Washington last night to ship a live final seat. And I'm like, damn, just give me that. And you keep bringing
I said it multiple times. Yeah, Parker Washington.
Bury these other people, man. Bury these other people with this Parker Washington that got us all. He got me too. I was in 7th last week or on Monday in the main, which is crazy too. Bring that up as like a side note, not to cut you off, but in Showdown, we're in the Discord, right? And I'm always just joking about the tilting early, and we all talk about that. And really, I'm probably not even joking, but in general, it's like, man, everyone goes nuts when like the first play happens. Like, none of this guy, no money. Yeah, Parker Washington did end up being needed, but that was after the touchdown. If he just did it, everyone was saying he was needed 100%. On the first play of the game. You needed Christian Kirk to go out. You needed him to get a touchdown. And then even then, we were all sitting in 7th place up at the top with some of the calls that we had that night. So realistically, it's not over until it's over. Once he got the touchdown, it was over. But just to say it, that's why sometimes going to these guys is not the way to do it. So go ahead, man. Take over. Sorry.
So to be fair, the dude was 0.11% owned. I didn't have any, and I knew I was dead early. So I saw P. Washington and didn't even bother clicking what his actual first name is. I just had PJ.
And we said this already. We've literally talked right through Malik. What's his name? Malik Washington? Cunningham. Sorry, Malik Cunningham. Now you got me talking about Washington again. Malik Cunningham. We talked right through his whole hotel room being posted on Instagram. So we've been talking about everything when it comes to these backup quarterbacks. You want to play them? Play them. That's what people say. Like Siege goes out, plays the backup quarterback when he played DFS. I mean, that's what you could do too if you want to as well. Go ahead, Title. Keep talking about these spots here. What do we got? Anything else?
Sorry, Parker, PJ, Washington anyway. But the thing is, yes, if at the end of the day, Freiermuth is still rotating in. He's 7,400. Darnell's still getting a little work. Connor Hayward's getting some work. They're running some 2 tight end sets. But 25%, 7,400 Freiermuth, I probably will be under. I like the Hunter Henry, though. His ownership will be in check right alongside with the kickers. Like, give me Hunter Henry, who's going to be on the field a bunch of snaps, probably over Boswell today. So, I don't know. At the end of the day, I love these running backs. I will have a lot of quarterbacks in the flex. I think Trubisky's fine in captain. Don't love the defense as much. Kicker's interesting, but Boswell's price is up there. I like the Pat side more.
Yeah, I think what's the delta on the two of these guys? Like, you got to think that because of the 5-1s and the 4-2s, that Boswell probably gets owned more than Ryland, you would think. But I don't know. We'll have to see. I was thinking like 15 versus 30 or something is what we could end up seeing. I like Ryland because, hey, don't forget, Ryland has never broke 6 points in 5 games. So there's no way he could do it on an island game randomly that has absolutely nothing to do with those other games, right? Remember that. So I'll be interested in that side of it more so. I like that. And this is definitely true, like Scary says, but build your lineups accordingly. One thing I will say is it doesn't always mean to go plug in the backup. Like everybody thinks, oh, if Zappy gets benched, I'm going to be winning all the money with Diamond in the Rough, Malik Cunningham. He could get smashed too. Like you have no idea, but build some with them. But you can also, you don't have to play a quarterback in your lineups. I was just saying earlier when it was brought up is that if the Steelers defense are truly going to be, as they project, like 50 to 60% owned on this slate, there is just so many lineups with them, meaning most of those lineups won't have Zappy. So that means Zappy's ownership is much lower. He's still a quarterback. He's still starting the game, gets the ball in his hand. We've seen crazier shit happen. You can get lucky. Things can go your way. Again, how many times are we going to sit here now and everyone tells me that a game can't go a certain way? And then sure enough, it was the other one. Like oh yeah, Buffalo, there's just no way that Denver can do anything there. Denver's in the game big time. Oh, Seattle, there's no way these guys can put up more than 14 points. There it is. Exactly. Nope, there's no way. Mind you, they put up over 30. And then on Monday, Browning, are you kidding me? There's absolutely no way the Bengals even come close in this game and they win. Like this is just nuts. Oh, but Trevor Lawrence got hurt at the very end of the game. It had nothing to do with that. So come on. There's stuff that can happen. It's the NFL. Shit happens all the time, man. So I don't know. I got nothing else to add. I already have my take on the D's. I will have 0 defense captain. You can look up my stuff if you want and don't believe me. 0 defense at the captain. I'll be way underweight in the flex. My goal is to build lineups that are different at captain for the most part, or just play all these good plays in one lineup. You could fit a ton of the quote unquote, what would be considered good plays in this game. I know it's that we only have this game to work with, but you can only work with what's put in front of you.
The volume players, right? The guys that are going to get the reps.
That you would hope get the reps. Maybe they don't. Maybe the guys can't make the throws, but I'm going to take the chance on that versus trying to figure out the Kevin Harris versus Hasty situation. Again, I'm not saying I'm off them completely. I'm saying, but in majority and mains for me, like I'm playing in the $470 FFWC tonight, for example. In that, I'm not trying to figure out Kevin Harris because if he's active and if he plays and if it just goes his way, I win. If it beats me, it beats me. I'm just not going to play in that way because I think I can easily just play pretty good projected plays with correlation and leverage built in by flipping the roster construction or having a low-owned captain or both and being able to do it that way. So that's how I'm going to do things tonight. It will all be in my slate plan over at the site. You can see it up there now. Remember, the $24 weekly gets you in today, gets you in for a week, but it does not come with the Discord. That is the key component. All the late breaking news, when we get Malik Cunningham news, when we get Kevin Harris news, all these other things, they're going to be right in the Discord and people talking about them and angling against how they're doing things and what they're doing differently. For just $25 more right now with the code TRY20, you can get in and get it for $49 for your first month. It's literally $1.50 a day, basically to check things out, get in, see if it's for you. You'll know right away if it's for you. If you actually want to get good and not just stare in the window at the gym at all the nice equipment and the treadmills and say, that looks pretty nice in there. This is the way to get in, but you actually have to come in and work out if you're trying to get in shape, get your bankroll in shape. Hoop, FanDuel thoughts, final thoughts on that, and then you guys can start throwing your scores into the chat. We are going to bring up the sim segment here coming up shortly.
Yeah, over on FanDuel, a couple things that stand out for sure, where Zeke is the most expensive on DK. He's only $12K on FanDuel, which is cheaper than Trubisky and both Pittsburgh running backs and Zappy. So he is the 5th most expensive guy over there on FanDuel. So I kind of like making that pivot to a Warren or a Najee Harris over him. Now you can play them both. There's no doubt about it. You can play Zeke and Warren or Najee in the same lineup, but Zeke's going to be way higher owned on FanDuel. The defenses, they did not necessarily raise the prices. They kept them where they typically are. Pittsburgh defenses at 10K going to be very, very popular. New England's defense is 9K. They will be popular as well. And then everyone else is, kind of like the same. It's, Devontae Parker, 9K, Hunter Henry. I actually like Hunter Henry at 75. That's a pretty good price tag, touchdown dependent type site. Allen Robinson, who we talked about, 7,500. I don't know. It's like a bunch of those guys are all in the same range. So the main things are Zeke being cheaper than the Pittsburgh running backs, and then not really getting that defensive bump over here where Pittsburgh's still at 10K, and they'll be very popular over there too.
All right, Title, any final thoughts from you? I know Hoop did the FanDuel segment already. We've got some scores coming up. We still got one winner to pick, but any other final thoughts from you on the stuff that we've already talked through, and then we'll get to the first score.
No, good breakdown for Hoop FanDuel. Pretty clear my thoughts, like the running backs, like the quarterbacks and the flex. Pretty clear slate. It's an interesting one. As far as, you got the score.
I would definitely be down for that score. I'm not going to lie.
All right. Do you want to run that one? We'll run it just.
Let's just see it, because I mean, honestly, all the low scoring scores that come in here, like, it's going to be very similar output here from Run the Sim. So at least this one.
I thought you were about to make a case that this was actually in the realm of possibilities. That's where I thought.
I'll have a chance to win tonight if it is.
We all hope. I thought you were really about to go on how it really might happen.
No, I don't think anyone's telling them on that. I did say this truthfully too, and we love our partnership over here at Run the Sims. It's, I think, the best tool for showdown slates, especially as we use it on the show. It's just awesome to be able to see some of these leverage angles and stuff. But I will say, I think I said, like, on a slate like this, if you think it's this type of game, I'm saying, if you think it's going to be that 14-10 or that 9-6 or whatever, like the obvious type scores, all these cheap scores that are low, I do think that it's the sort of the worst setup for it, because no matter what it says, it's like you're running a variance game of who is that touchdown scorer or the one on each side or whatever it is. Like, that's just all more luck than what any sim is going to tell us. It can tell us it's this, and if it says it's Pickens, it becomes Deontay. If it says it's Deontay, it becomes Freiermuth. Like, if you really think that, now if we get a score like this, let's see what happens. For those of you that are just joining us for the first time, it's very easy. You go to runthesims.com. You can use promo code SHIPIT to sign up to get 10% off. You go DFS Tools, NFL, the Sim Runner. Here, we're not going to use the Pro. You're picking the slate. In this case, we're going to the Showdown Captain mode for New England, Pittsburgh. We'll do the inputs in a second where you have full control. We're doing 10,000 sims on this game. These are play-by-play sims. So let's run it here. It's going to be 45-32 for the Patriots. So all we're changing is the score. Keep in mind, if you want to mess with this and you have access to this site using the promo code SHIPIT, you can actually go in and change all the market shares, the receiving, passing, rush rate, all the different stuff you want to mess with. You can change it around. But for this one, we're just going to run it straight up, 45-32. You turn off the pro mode in this case, hit Run the Sims. It'll give us the optimal results. I'll run that in a second. If you truly think it's anywhere near this, you should get all in on that over money, because 30 is the total. So if you got one team scoring more than that, then hop in. It's going to be tough, man. This is not the score I'm seeing, but we'll see.
It's interesting, though, just to see what
I think one thing I would take away is whatever we'll see here in a second. I know it's already on the screen, but just to say it, you could extrapolate from it to down to say if there was more points than what the general public thinks.
Yeah, just like we just said about the low scoring scores, how you're going to see a lot of the similar stuff. The same can be said. Like if you punched in 35-28, which is obviously a little more realistic than this, you're going to see the same stuff as this for the most part.
Yeah, I got to get my guy. I love my guy, Alex, but I got to take that off the screen. Everyone knows what it is. 45-32. It's not, I can't be sold on that one. So I just got to move it off. We can see Title's face again, but here we go. For those watching this for the first time, it's easy. It gives you the player. Here's Bailey Zappi. He's quarterback for New England. His price is this. Here's what Run the Sims has his ownership at projected. They think he's going to be around 30% in the flex, around 4% in the captain. for a total combined ownership of 34%. They're saying in this sim, he's showing up almost 51% of the time. No wonder. I mean, they're putting up all these points. He should be up there. His captain rate skyrockets. So again, if extrapolating from this and you think that the Patriots are going to be in this game and it becomes an over game, clearly Zappy is a good way to go, but this just certifies that for you and gives you a better idea of it. Then you can use it to go down from there on some of the other spots. Title, I'll kick it to you. I know I brought up the score, but only going to run a couple of these today. Is there anything you see with this one here? Like Hunter Henry's down here. Like who else? And what do you see that stands out?
If you think the Pats can score 3 touchdowns, jam in all the Pats. Zappy, and then 2 of Henry, Parker, Juju, Zeke. I mean, all of them, because Pittsburgh's going to be heavier. They're probably for like 13 points. If they can get 3 touchdowns, you're going to want New England. So, yeah, obviously this score means, I mean, if this happened, wow, that'd be insane. Never say never, but even cut it in half or something like if they score, you want Patriots is what I'm taking out of this.
And these 4 too. I mean, like, again, people always forget this. I know that it shows negative on Warren here, but he's still showing up in over half the lineups on the slate. These guys are showing up in 60 to 70%. So both quarterbacks and Zeke, again, if you have it set up on something else, it won't even let me bet it on a parlay. Yeah, no wonder. That's not going to be
We're getting rich. Let's get rich tonight. Let's play
good outcome. But I do forget that one for a second. Brian said, this is the truth. We already talked this up and talked about this on the show, Hoop. You did say Zeke sucks. But on this slate, whatever. And usually these takes for you are dead on. So I think Zeke captains maybe are popular for good reason tonight because you've got it pegged.
That had me thinking. I know it does fit into the theory of me calling guys cheeks and saying they suck and then, being on them and them producing well. I mean, it's happened quite a few times this season. Man, is it all in Zeke? Zeke sort of night.
Staring at a nice Zeke captain lineup right now, too, that I was building on the show that might have to run it. I like the call.
Yeah.
I like the Zeke call. Grab me another score in there, Hoop, and then we're going to save. I don't know what the best way to do it is. Let's see. How can we give away one last free membership quickly? First person to tell me Tyquan Thornton's high school. Go look it up if you have to. But if you want a free membership, the first person to put, and if you're already a member, you can't win. It's new members only. Go look it up for all I care. But Tyquan Thornton's high school, the first person to end it while we look up this other score, gets the final free membership there. Let's go back to the inputs here. What do we got, Title? We got the score everyone kind of expects. It's actually still an over, though, right? 20-13.
Yeah, technically.
Surprisingly. Technically, you don't usually see it where 2013 is an over, but I'll comment on something else, too. Okay. Let me check this out here for a second. It is? I had it up here earlier. Yeah, Booker T. Washington. What would Jeopardy do if he didn't say senior? But now we'll give it to our guy. OMG Lowells with the owl in between lols. Check that show out after. I'm going to go watch lols after this. They've had some great episodes in the past featuring some people even on this very panel. So give them a quick shout out. But you guys can go check out for this guy here, the winner, OMG Lowells. Go to your YouTube account, screenshot it, send it to info@shipitnation.com, and we'll get you set up with your 1 month free. Sometimes we got to mess around and have some fun with it. We'll see what happens there. And then while I'm looking up this score, it's popping up. Bring the Noise said this. These are the slates to ship, lazy slates. I do think that's kind of the case. You're right. But at the same time, it's not what I thought you were thinking. Like, I don't love this slate still, even though that is what I'm thinking. So 20-13, we've got it plugged in here, running it. See what happens with that. What else do we know about Tyquan Thornton? 23 years old, 84 kg, 1.88 M. Well, this thing loads. So, I mean, coming out of Booker T. Washington Sr., this guy could be on your lineups tonight.
Yeah. Y'all talking KGs up there?
No, that's just what the Wikipedia has. I already had to run the wiki to find the winner of the contest, so I figure I'll just keep running with it while this thing loads. It's probably sick of loading this score from today, to be honest. Everybody around the Sims typing in this score or something very similar. But here we are. Hoop, you see it. We got Mitch, your boy, up top. Zeke. Nice. Still kind of in the mix. I mean, he's still in there, 55. It does really spread out, though, after that. Like, look at this range of, like I said, that's why I don't love this score, this slate. Like, you are just picking from these guys. Like, it's just going to be completely random for most of what happens here.
Yeah. Juju way up there. Where does the Ryland dude, the kicker? Because he should, with this sort of score, be up there, right? Because it would indicate is he not?
Right there,
there he is.
-4.
Only 5% when they score 13. That seems a little off to me, but yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's like this is the score that's projected essentially, and I mean, you see, it's like spread out stuff. It's a high variance slate tonight, so I mean, you just basically need to use that to your advantage. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, we rarely see this where we put in a score and there's like how many guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, with a total rate of 30 or higher. So a lot of things could happen in this game, and I think this is a true indicator of that.
Yeah, I agree. And also, too, just a note that I'm just thinking out loud here, looking at it, like the Ryland stuff and some other situational things, like it likes even the New England D at 5K, which remember, Ryland's 4,600. And then you take into consideration Hunter Henry, 52. And this is just on the Pats side. Forget the Steelers side, which is way more popular as you'd expect, but Devontae Parker, 5,600. Juju, only 38. So all of those guys are showing up a lot more. It's just saying I'd rather go with a Juju, a Devontae, something like that, regardless of the build that you're going to be in. So I definitely think that would be something to keep in mind as well. And yeah, again, Ryland sucks. Ryland's cheats. Everyone says it. It's the case until it's not. Like it's really what it comes down to. So title final
a 50-yarder at halftime. He's not getting cheeks anymore.
Just like
kicker
that.
Being cheeks. I love it. Ryland is kicker cheeks.
Neil's hilarious, actually, but Neil is, I think Neil's the wolf of Ball Street. He just won like 7K again last week, actually. So he's always in the mix. He's always crushing it. Shout out to Neil. But calling your kicker cheeks is probably up there. It's one of the best things I've seen all season, because we make fun of like we make fun of the players that like everyone knows, like Zeke is cheeks, or like Najee Harris is cheeks. And then he like throws in Ryland for the kicker for New England, who is actually cheeks. But kind of love to see that. Title, final thoughts from you on this slate, man. Anything else that you want to talk about here before we get out of here?
Yeah, I appreciate that. You had me laughing, and Sean, you too. Booker PJ Washington. Sean and Neil had me in tears over here. But no, it's hey, we had some fun on talking some Steelers, Pats, backup QBs. But hey, anyone will have fun if you take first place and have a SHIPIT Nation logo up top today. So I think we covered a lot of different ways. Hopefully defenses don't get there. Yeah, I appreciate you, Neil and Sean, for making me laugh, man. Good luck, everybody.
You just cut me off. I was about to say good luck, everybody.
I got you.
The title sign off at the end too. I was going to do it for you, but no, it's been good. Like you said, I think it was awesome getting to talk through it and still have some fun with a slate like this. That's what we're always trying to do. Keep it real with you guys, as well as try and bring some information at the same time. Hoop, final thoughts from you, man, before we get out of here?
Well, after we went through and talked, I might be watching the game instead of 11-year-old girls basketball practice. So
we have to stop framing it up that way. And there's a lot going on.
My daughter's basketball practice. Let me put it that way instead of 11-year-old girls. Yeah, that's one quick way to get banned from the internet. Talking about watching a 11-year-old. Yeah, my daughter's basketball practice. Let me be clear on that.
Yeah, we got to get out of here. We got a meeting with the PR team after this, and so we'll talk to you guys later. But no, in all seriousness, appreciate everybody sticking through this with us. We will have all the content up on the site. For those who don't know, obviously all the sports are there. We've got the education courses talked earlier, where you can get the free Showdown course, even if you don't want to sign up for the site right now. No big deal. It's $24 for the week. If you don't want to go there with no Discord, you can go $49 for the month with the promo code TRY20 TRY20. Get in. That's still on right now, but we'll have the Showdown content up. We've got projections, which includes the projected ownership. You can take it right over to your favorite optimizer or our partner, The Solver, where it will update and auto sync for you automatically. The core report with Hoop, Title, Nades, myself, our guys all up there that are putting cores in the Discord as well. And then we got Hoop's player pool and my slate plan for the entire slate, breaking all things down. Thank you guys so much for watching. For Title, for Hoop, for myself, ToeTagginTambo. Let's ship it.